Tom, when I showed you the spatial design techniques I had developed, I got the sense it was an area that the team at BlueZoo had been itching to explore. And at that stage, was it driven by a creative or production or business need?
I think everything we do is driven by all three, really, because otherwise it doesn't make sense for us to really kind of like push purely in a artistic, creative way if it doesn't have a business value to it. So I think what happened was you explained your thoughts on the future and how these technologies can be embraced by animation studios, and that really resonated with me in everything you said. So kind of thought we're both on the same wavelength, and we're really looking ways to explore this and collaborate with other partners. So it kind of really seemed an ideal way of us kind of exploring the space in ways that we hadn't anticipated before.
And I remember quite early on, you outlined overarching goals, right? What were some of those goals you had for the POC?
We really wanted to test in a robust way as possible the ways that this technology could be used to speed up the animation production process, but without affecting the quality. Because when we see platforms like YouTube and the way audiences have such an insatiable demand for content, the default way that most companies have dealt with that is by churning out kind of really kind of cheap animation, you know, as you see on like preschoolers' YouTube channels. And that's not something we're interested in. We want to make stuff that we're proud of. And so we really approach this as, can we utilize this kind of spatial technology and embrace it in a way of solving what is essentially as a business problem of catching up with what modern audiences want.
Could this be a sign of potential new content formats?
That was very much one of the drivers for it, where, you know, if you want to create stuff on, say, YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is, you have to kind of be this almost content factory, kind of keeping up with demand. And animation, as much as all the technologies have sped up rendering and things like that with GPU rendering, the rest of the animation process hasn't sped up, and that presents a business problem for anyone who makes animation. If all your audience has kind of sped off into the distance and you're still kind of like lumbering behind. So it was very much to address that problem of how can we create content for these platforms without having to, you know, cut so many corners. It's just churning out stuff for the sake of it. How can we make content that is really fun to make still, and fun to experiment with and explore, without making something that is just looks like it's been, you know, created for the sake of it.
Dashed out.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of tools will be going to, in terms of how can we use animation for these new platforms that don't quite marry with kind of traditional workflows.
Yeah, terrific.